Official SPC integration notice for the secured party creditor and enforcement mechanisms. A financing statement does not create a trust. A security agreement does not create fiduciary capacity. A public filing does not replace proper estate, trust, or family office administration. At most, an SPC-related filing may serve as a public notice of an asserted private interest when that interest is already supported by a valid underlying agreement. Fiduciary record, trust instrument, estate documentation, or other lawful administrative foundation. The private path framework teaches that fiduciary authority comes first. A trustee, executor, or fiduciary acts from appointment, governing documents, duty, records, and conduct. The SPC process is optional and should never be treated as mandatory for someone who is already acting properly in fiduciary capacity. Many fiduciaries administer trusts, estates, assets, obligations, correspondence, and claims without ever filing a UCC-1. The filing is not the authority. The record behind the filing is what matters. This notice clarifies how the secured party creditor concept is treated within the private path education framework. Within this curriculum, the SPC process is not taught as a status creation method, a debt discharge shortcut, a tax avoidance device, or a replacement for fiduciary authority. A UCC filing does not create private status. This volume includes SPC language because Patrick Devine's work is often studied alongside later secured party and private enforcement teachings. However, students must distinguish between Patrick Devine's private trust and estate administration model, later SPC interpretations promoted in private education communities, and the practical legal reality of UCC filings. Under modern UCC principles, a financing statement generally functions as notice related to the security interest. It does not, by itself, prove ownership, create a lien, establish estate control, or bind third parties without the necessary underlying authority and agreement. Unauthorized, unsupported, exaggerated, or retaliatory filings may be ineffective, rejected, challenged, or create legal exposure. The family office role does not become a secured party. The family office does not become the debtor. It also does not create the security interest, and it maintains the administrative record. Its role is to preserve copies, logs, certified mail receipts, filing confirmations, renewal dates, supporting documents, correspondence, and fiduciary notes. The fiduciary acts. The family office records. The fiduciary administers, and the family office preserves continuity. One guiding rule in this volume is that the SPC process is optional. It is not required to be a fiduciary or to administer a trust or estate, and it is not required to operate privately. When used, it should be treated only as a notice mechanism supported by real records, real authority, and disciplined administration. The private path to protected, profitable private work. The secured party creditor concepts and private administration. As students progress through private education, they will eventually encounter the concept of the secured party creditor. commonly referred to as an SPC. Within many private education communities, SPC filings are often presented as a critical step in establishing protection, securing interests, preserving claims, or providing notice of a private position. Entire educational programs have been built around the presentation of UCC filings, security agreements, powers of attorney, affidavits, and related administrative documents. Patrick Devine's teachings often intersected with these discussions because his work focused heavily on trust administration, estate control, fiduciary responsibility, and correcting presumptions surrounding the public record. Over time, many students and educators expanded upon those teachings by incorporating UCC filings and other notice mechanisms into their administrative process. Within the private path framework, we take a balanced approach. We do not teach that a UCC filing creates authority or that a financing statement creates a trust. We also do not teach that an SPC filing creates private status. And we do not teach that fiduciary authority comes from public filings. Authority comes from proper trust administration, estate governance, fiduciary appointment, accurate records, and consistent conduct. However, we also recognize that many students choose to utilize the SPC filings as an additional administrative tool and notice mechanism within a properly established private structure. For that reason, this volume provides a complete educational walkthrough of the SPC process as it is commonly practiced within the private community. The purpose is not to persuade students that an SPC filing is required. The purpose is to ensure that those who choose to utilize these concepts understand how they fit within the larger framework of trust administration, family office governance, and fiduciary responsibility, along with record keeping. Throughout this volume, students will learn how SPC-related documents are commonly prepared, maintained, and administered while remaining grounded in the principles taught through the Foundations in Risk Literacy series and Family Office series. If you want more information about this class, you can join our website at www.privatepathhrsolutions.com.